Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover video of the Swift Voyager 574. So located on the driver's step, if you pull this cover off in the cab, you've got the location of your tyre inflation kit. So if you get a flat tyre, this will blow your tyre up. You've also got the gel pack. The gel will fill a puncture. However, if you put the gel in and they can fix the tyre, once this gel is in, your tyre does need replacing, so it's best to always try and fill it with air first and limp it to the tyre repair centre without putting this in. Otherwise you will be replacing a tyre where you could get a puncture repair on a tyre cheaper. You've also got your lock and wheel nut and your key code in here, which sits in there. So you might want to pop that into your glove box. But that is where you would find your tyre inflation kit and your lock and wheel nut on a Ford Transit Swift. So to operate your cassette, first of all you'll need to use your cabotation key to unlock the lock and then push both buttons in to drop the door. Then you want to grab a hold of the blue lever, lift it up, and this will allow the cassette to come out of the vehicle. You can then either carry it, or it's got a handle so you can wheel it once it's full to your disposal point, which is beside your toilet block. And to empty, you'll want to remove the cap, pop that to one side, press the blue button at the back when you're pouring it. So start to pour the contents out the cassette, press the blue button in, it allows a bit of air in, stops it glugging, gives it a consistent flow. Pour the contents out. Once you've done so, there's always the tap beside the disposal point, so pop some water in, pop the cap back on, give it a rinse, tip out again, and then you can go in with a cap full, which is 120 ml of liquid, which is either green or blue, depending on what the site prefers you to use for their septic tank waste disposal, into here, and then it can go back into the van, and it's good to go. If you ever go for the blue lever and you can't get the cassette out, it means that the blade on the pedestal of the toilet is open. You've got to have that shut to allow the cassette to come out of the side of the van. So fitted to all Voyager models, you do have an external shower point. So this is the hose that comes with the van. You've got one truma end, one trigger gun. Clicks into here. And then, as long as the pump's on inside the van, you can hose the dogs off, the bikes, the boots, the kids, and you'll get a flow of water through the taps to the external shower. So to hook the motorhome up, whether you're charging it at home over the winter months or prior to use, or you're charging it when you get to the site, hooking up is the same way. So all you need to do is get the hooker bleed, lift the collar, expose the connection, slide it onto the vehicle. Once you've got it on the vehicle, you can then connect it to the house or to the site post so that you're never walking around with a live lead in your hand. This is your LPG locker. So again, opens with a habitation key, and in here you can fit 2 bottles, so you can fit 2 6-kilogram bottles on board. So what you want to do is, I've got my test bottle on at the moment. You put your bottle on. As soon as you get your bottle on, you strap it in. So you strap it in top and bottom of the cylinder, so it's nice and safe and secure on the van. And then to connect the pipe from the regulator to the bottle, which is known as the pigtail, it's opposite ways with the being gas, so it's left to tighten, right to loosen. You want to hand tighten it as far as you can tighten, and then get an adjustable spanner or gas spanner and just nip it up that final little bit before turning the cylinder on at the top. Once you've turned it on 1 or 2 turns, there's a little black button, and on this one it's here. You press that in, and that allows the gas through the crash valve here into the van. Without pressing that button in, you're not going to get any gas through the vehicle from the bottle into the vehicle. So press that in and allow the gas to the pigtail. And then finally, just make sure you've got another crash sensor here on your second motion controlled regulator. You want to make sure that the yellow nib is pushed flat. If that's ever sticking out, you need to press and hold it for 10 seconds to do a reset, which tells you on the sticker just here what to do if that was the case. On the back panel of this van, you do have your bullet style reversing camera, so that'll work when engaged in reverse, or you can select camera on your head unit and you can put this on when driving forward as well. So on this model you do have a garage, so it is accessible from inside the van. You've got access both sides of the exterior of the vehicle. You do have 12 volt lighting in there as well to the back corners, as well as 12 volt, 240 volt socket and 2 twin USBs, and it's also heated via your heating system. So when filling the vehicle with fresh water, you want to carry yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, as it's mainly just a brass tap provided by the site. Then you want to get your habitation key and you want to unlock your blue cap. So once unlocked, it will remove. Pop the hose in, flat end of the hose into the van, connect the other end to the site's tap, whether that be at the back of your pitch if it's a super site, or whether you're driving, before booking in, you go into the motorhome service bay and putting water on. Put your water on board, wait until it overflows. You can look on the control panel how much water is on board. So if you are doing a longer journey but you go into a site and you want to take a bit of water with you, take a maximum of 20 litres. However, if you're going wild camping, you might have to take a full tank from the house. If not, get the rest of the water on site, because it will mean that you're lighter for use of diesel and you'll get a much bigger payload because you're not dragging around a full tank of water with you. Once it starts to overflow, it's full. You would then put your cap back in, lock it. However, if you can't get a hose pipe to the vehicle, you can get a 12 volt pump which comes with the van. There's a little cap here. You take this cap off. It's quite fiddly. That is your power point for your 12 volt submersible pump. So pop that in there, one end into here, pump into the bucket of water, aqua roll, and it will suck the water into the freshwater tank without you having to move the van if you're on a standard pitch, or if you can't get water to the vehicle, you can obviously bring the bucket or aqua roll without using the hose. In this locker you do have some storage which is underneath your lounge bench seat at the back. So if you want to access it, you can access inside as well as out. So should you have taken on a source of contaminated water, not using the van for a while, or you want to winterize it to avoid the water from freezing, you want to drain off your fresh water. So you want to start off by taking the cap, there's a blanket cap off on the bottom off, and then you can open it up and allow the fresh water out of the vehicle. Fitted as well as standard in the Voyager range is your external gas point. So if you want to use a Cassette or an external barbecue, instead of carrying a separate bottle, you can just tap into the bottle that's already on board the vehicle. And to do so, supplied with the vehicle, you get a quick release connection. So you want to take the blanket cover off, you want to push the ribbled edge into here, and then you want to get some gas hose and a Jubilee clip to secure the hose onto this part here, and a Jubilee clip to secure the other end on the Cassette or external barbecue. Once you've got it connected, you can then turn the tap on and it will allow the gas from the bottle to this point, remembering to turn the tap off before pushing the collar up and releasing your pipe. You've also got a fresh, or should I say, a wastewater drain. So your wastewater is any water that you've put down a plug hole. If you're on a super pitch, you may be able to get a bit of pipe that connects onto here, and then you can leave it open all the time and you'll not need to drain your tank because it's constantly open. However, if you're on a standard pitch, when you're finished, you stay. You can drive the van over the gridded area on the motorhome service point, open the valve and allow your wastewater out. So this is any water that you've put down a plug hole, so that's dishes water, hand-based water, shower water, cups of tea, anything will go into here. You want to drain this off before you leave your site, because you don't want to be lugging around the extra weight of dirty water, because there's nothing more you can do with it once it's dirty, and you want to ensure it's fully drained off in the winter to avoid the water from freezing. To fill the Ford with fuel, located at the passenger door, you've got your quick and easy filling point. So there's no cap, you just push it in, it's an easy fill, it'll fill with fuel. And then underneath you've got your AdBlue, because it's a Euro 6 compliant engine, it takes AdBlue. It's 22 litres on a Ford, and it does tell you it'll illuminate on the dash when you've got your last 1,000 mile. Your light comes on, a fill up is required, or you can go into the settings and see how much AdBlue is in your tank at any one time. To operate your Swift 12 volt control panel, to turn the vehicle on, you put your master switch here, which is your master power switch, which gives 12 volt if you are not hooked up, or if you are hooked up, you'll get the light from the post to the van, which will mean you are receiving mains to 30 volt, so all 3-pin plugs within the vehicle will work, and mains appliances. This one here is your interior lights, and they all are individually switched around the van. Press here, you can view your levels of your vehicle battery, your leisure battery, your fresh water and your wastewater capacity. Making sure that you unhook the vehicle first to get a true reflection of your batteries, and always make sure that the leisure battery is selected, which is the battery you want to use when you are using the motorhome. However, if you wanted to charge your vehicle battery over the winter, all you need to do is turn it to the vehicle and it will charge the engine battery. But when using it, it's very important that it's on the leisure battery, as this is the auxiliary battery designed to power the motorhome. Turn your pump on here, so make sure you've got enough water on board. Turn your pump on, and then as soon as you open the taps, you'll get a pressurized flow of water. And you do have your tank heaters, so if you're away in the winter and it is going to freeze, pop these on overnight and it'll stop the water from freezing in the tanks below the vehicle. To operate your Truma digital control panel, this here is your on-off button, which you would do a long press on and it'll turn itself completely off, and then press and it'll turn itself on. To enter the menu, as this is on, but you want to get into the menu, you need to press enter. And here you do have a motorhome with a thermometer flashing. This is your interior temperature of the vehicle. So click on here. Off if you are away in the summer and you didn't want any heating, or you can turn it all the way up to 30 degrees, which sets the thermostat. To save the temperature set, press enter and then move along. And this is your water setting. So if you've got water in the boiler, water in the freshwater tanks, you can put your hot water system on. So you've got Eco, which is 40 degrees of heating the 10 litres of water. Hot, which is 60 degrees of heating the 10 litres of water. Or Boost, which is a half an hour setting which turns off the heating and prioritises the water. So for this we'll just say hot, as you want the heating and hot water to run together, whereas on Boost it turns the heating off and prioritises the water. Next you've got your energy source. So you'd use gas if you were wild camping and didn't have any electric on board the vehicle. Mixture 1, which is 750 watts of electric and gas. Mixture 2, which is 1850 watts of electric and gas. You'd use that if you're in the winter, and this will boost the temperature of the vehicle quicker than using just electric for the first 20 minutes or so. EL1, which is 750 watts of electric, and EL2, which is 1850 watts of electric. Use EL2 on most sites throughout the UK. On smaller CL sites and airs, you may have to turn it down to EL1. And then at the end you've got your fan, so you can have that on Eco or High, and that is just a 12 volt fan setting. Eco uses a lot less of the leisure battery. High uses the full fan speed, so you can hear it a little bit more, so you might want to turn it down to Eco when sleeping. Time here, you can so you can put a timer on for the heating to come on and off. Time on the main display panel. And then in the settings, if you scroll all the way down to reset, if you ever get a warning triangle that won't disappear, press reset. It'll say preset, press enter again, and then it'll completely turn the panel off, and you'll have to go in and set the temperature, the water, the energy source and the fan speed again. Anything above the line, so you've got your hot water, your heating on there with a gas flame, hot water's on, you're on 2 kilowatts of electric, as you've got 2 electric symbols lit up, and your fan is on Eco, so it tells you without even going in that your heating system is on. The switch located in the kitchen is your table control. So as long as you've got power on, 12 volt, you'll be able to press up and down and adjust the table in the lounge. You do also have a fuse for it here, so if the fuse does blow. It's a 10 amp fuse, so carry some spare fuses with you for all electrical equipment, but you just pick the fuse out and replenish the fuse here for the electrically operated table. So this is your Dometic fridge, which can be controlled through the control panel, which I've already shown you, or you can control it here. So you've got your on off, your mode and your temperature all on here, which is a flush panel. The only time you may want to turn it from auto is when it's gone from travelling on 12 volt with the engine running to gas. It does wait on gas 20 minutes before lighting, and that is because in case you've forgot to isolate the gas cylinder and you've knocked the engine off in a petrol station and you're about to fill it with diesel, the last thing you want is it to then light on gas. So it does wait 20 minutes before doing this function. To change it, you just press mode and you can override it by manually selecting gas and taking it off automatic. Beauty with this fridge is, if you're cooking, you can get to this side, or if you want a cold refreshment from the back lounge on this model, you can get from this side as well. Like I say, always make sure it's left open when not using, so that air can circulate in and out of the fridge. And all you need to do is, there's a little tab here, you want to pull it out. So depending on which way, there's one on each side. As the door's double hinged, you just pull this out and then that would go onto there and it would stop the door from closing. So now in the kitchen area, you do have one electric hot plate which works on mains hookup only, so that will not work on 12 volt. It's a mains item. So when you're parked on a site, to save you wasting your gas, you can use your pan on the hot plate. Failing that, you do have 3 gas rings. Make sure if you've had any of the hobs on, you allow them to go cool enough so that you place your hand upon before shutting the glass lid, otherwise you will smash the glass with the heat. Underneath, you've got a grill, and then you've also got an oven. Located on the side of the oven here is your data plate for your oven, so if you ever need any parts, those will be the numbers that you're required to give us to find the right parts for this oven. Large storage drawer. Another storage drawer, making sure that you push the catches in before you set off, just so they don't open when you're driving down the road. And then on the top here, you do have your cutlery tray. Above, you've got your plate rack, so you can put your plates in. There's also a socket in here, as it's ready to take a microwave. So they've put a socket in, so all you would need to do is get the Swift microwave and fitting kit from a Swift dealer, and you could remove this locker here and replace it with a microwave. Above, you've got some storage as well. On the side of the kitchen, you've also got a worktop extension, so if you need an extra prep space when doing the dishes or cooking, you've got the added addition of the extra worktop space here with the flap, and then all you need to do is press the 2 buttons here and it'll fold back away. So located in the kitchen, you've got your switch for your drop down 12 volt system on your table, so press and hold. There's a fuse here as well, so just if you have blown it, check the fuse. You should be able to drop the table down, whether you want it in the coffee table position or the dining position, or you making the front bed up. So once your table's down to position, you want to pull the extension support bars out and then lift the extra flap over. There's 2 stoppers this side, which lies the tabletop on, means it's given extra support from the centre and both sides. And then to make the bed, you can pull the base cushions forward, drop the backrest into place. There's a notch in the cushion. The notch works great because it goes underneath here, So if you just turn that round the other way and pop that in, you can get it tightly underneath. And again, turn these round, lift them in, there you are. You've got your front bed made up. You can turn them upside down to get a flatter surface to sleep on, but that's how the cushions go, making the front bed on the 574. You do have the additional drop down bed as well, so if it was just two and you weren't making the bed up underneath, you do have to remove the backrest, so place them down on the floor and then you can bring the bed down into its lowest position, which is a little bit lower. I've just got a base cushion here, so we'll pull that off. Comes right the way down and sits on top of the sofa, so this is in its lowest position. If you did want to make the bed up underneath, you would just stop it at any height, add the ladder to the front, which is underneath the mattress, and you've got safety nets on all four sides of the bed to stop children rolling out. When not in use, and especially over the winter, it's always good practice to leave the bed slightly down from the ceiling so it's not touching, so it allows air circulation throughout and it stops any damp or mildew on the mattress, as it's not resting upon the ceiling, so it doesn't stain the wallboard on the roof as well. Once it's up, there's a safety belt that you need to put on. So it's here, so the belt is there, that goes up, and there's a safety seat belt which just clips on top for added safety when travelling. On the back of the 574 you do have your rear lounge, so you've got a nice rear lounge there with access to the garage at the bottom, two wardrobes either side and some storage throughout. So at the back you've also got a slide out table, which is quite handy for when you're ready to dine. You can have your meals on here and then push it back in. When not using it, you've got a lovely bit of space at the back for your cups of tea, your bottles of beer, your glasses of wine, and you've also got in the corner a mains 230 volt socket, a 12 volt socket, and it's pre-wired ready for the aerial installation. So once the aerial's fitted by your Swift dealers, you can plug your telly in and stand it on here. So under your back driver's side rear seat, your lounge seat, you do have your Sargent power supply consumer unit, which is an EC400 unit. So you do have the location of your 12 volt fuses, so carry some spare blade fuses with you in case one does blow. It'll come up with a red light on the bottom. You'll know which one's blown. You'll be able to pick it out and replenish it with a fuse, but all the fuses are listed here on the sticker on the front on what fuse does what, just here. And then this side you do have your mains. So if you've got a problem with 230 volt, whether it be the site or the van, always start with checking the van first. So if you've tripped the van, try here. If it's not tripped, it'll be the site. If you think you're not receiving power, trip the van. If the van trips, you've got power. If it doesn't trip, unfortunately you're not receiving power, so check where you're getting the power from. The buttons along the top, you've got a system shutdown button which acts as a battery isolator, so that will stop anything coming off the leisure battery, including the radio system on the Swifts, which is your XN. So if you go to try and move the van, you're wondering why you can't get the radio on or your reversing camera's not coming on. If that's switched off, unfortunately it's not going to come on because that's wired through there. You've got your reverse polarity light. You have your charger. So your charger, these need to be pushed in, which they are, and they'll light up. So the charger will light up when mains 230 volt is detected, and it will charge a leisure battery off the mains hookup. And you've got your heating and hot water. So this is like a fuse spur. This needs to be on to use the heating and hot water on mains electric. If that's turned off, unfortunately you'll not be able to use the electric side to heat the water or the van. You will just have to use gas. So located next to it, if you take the little flap out, you do have the back of your gas locker, but you've also got your main water pump. So there's only one water pump. This is your water pump for both your hot and your cold tap with your accumulator next to it. And you've also got these taps here. These are gas isolation valve taps. So if there's any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. You're isolating the whole system then. However, these are mainly for when the vehicle is annually habitation serviced, or you can identify which gas appliance is causing the issue. They're all coloured, so you've got a white, a blue and a green tap, and there's a sticker here which tells you what to do. So if you do need to isolate them, you can. If not, or you're unsure, to be 100% safe, turn your whole gas system off, which is isolating your bottle. To make the rear bed, lift the front up. As you're sliding it out, there's a leg that needs to come down. You need to do that on both sides before placing the cushions in. So once you've placed the cushions in, you'll create your double bed. Using the backrests, you can either put them at the back or the front. It fills the space the same way and it creates your double bed. However, what you probably want to do is turn the cushions upside down and you'll get a flatter surface to sleep upon without the bull nose and the ribs of the cushions. So in the washroom area, to operate your toilet, ensure the pump's on. Press the blue button and you'll get some fresh water flush. Always put a small amount of water in the toilet first, which helps lubricate the seal between the blade and the top of the toilet. Open the blade, use the toilet. If you've got any pink liquid, put a small amount of pink liquid diluted with water in an empty spray bottle, spray the bowl, flush, and then close the blade. It's just you can't put the pink anywhere else because it's a freshwater fed toilet. There's no header tank like there is on most caravans and some other motorhomes. Once the cassette is full, you'll get the green indication will go to red to indicate the cassette's full and it needs to be taken outside the van, emptied, rinsed out and replenished with chemical. You've got a slide down sink here. This is just showing that your water system's working and that your hot water is working as well, because that hot water is very hot there. You can see the steam coming off the water, so it's very hot. When winterizing, always remove the shower head from the hose. Take the hose off the holder and lie the hose down in the tray, because you see you've got a bend in the hose. Water could freeze and cause damage to this pipe. And just be careful with what you clean the shower surround and tray and toilet with, along with the sink. It's just plastic, so no harsh bleaches or harsh chemicals and scouras. Just a light microfiber cloth, some dish soap or Dettol spray is good enough to clean out your toilet on the motorhome. Light switch can be found under here. Toiletry cabinet, and you've got another one there as well. Make sure when you travel you put this little clip on the shower concertina door or toilet door even, just to stop it from moving when you're driving down the road. And you do have a skylight for ventilation, and you've also got a hanging rail which also works great if you've been out in the rain. Put a couple of hangers on there, hang your wet coat on there and it'll drip dry. Shut the door. Smallest place in the van, it'll get really warm with the heating system.